Educational Information and Communication Technology presents Educational Satellite Television Programs.
Hello, teacher. Hello, students. Welcome to our lesson on the origin of autotrophy. In our last lesson, we discussed Alexander Oparin's theory of biochemical evolution, and we learned about Stanley Miller's experiment to confirm the biochemical evolution theory. In today's lesson, we will learn about the origin of autotrophy. Let us get started. The first organisms to appear on the earth were called prokaryotes. They are a group of organisms that do not have a true nucleus. While most are unicellular, a few prokaryotes have multicellular stages in their life cycles. Prokaryotes gave way to the three domains of life. They are archaebacteria, eubacteria, and eukaryotes. We have looked at these domains before, but I think a quick review is a good idea. Archaebacteria are prokaryotes with a different evolutionary history. They are organisms which can live in diverse environments and get their energy from many different compounds. They are a very primitive species of organisms that have been on Earth since the beginning of life. The next domain is called eubacteria. They are also prokaryotes. For example, blue-green algae, also called cyanobacteria, is eubacteria. Eubacteria come in many different forms, can be found in many different environments, and can get energy in many different ways. The final domain that we will learn about is called eukaryotes. Eukaryotes included all organisms that contain a true nucleus within their cells. These include animals, plants, fungi, and protists. Students, for our first activity, name the three domains of life that we just learned about. Write your answers on a sheet of notebook paper.
Students, let's get ready. Begin. Time's up. Let's get back to our lesson.
Welcome back, students. Were you able to name all 3 domains? If you answered Archaebacteria, Eubacteria, and Eukaryotes, you are correct. So, in order for life to develop further, there needed to be a source of oxygen. Over 3 billion years ago, there was almost no oxygen in the Earth's atmosphere. Blue-green algae, also called cyanobacteria, produced the oxygen that allowed the atmosphere of the Earth to become a more stable environment for the development of life. The algae took in the carbon dioxide from the air and released oxygen. Over 1 billion years, iron in the Earth's crust absorbed the oxygen that the blue-green algae had produced. It was not until 2.4 billion years ago that the amount of oxygen began to increase and build up in the atmosphere. Students, I have a quick question for you. What is the name of the process the blue-green algae went through to produce oxygen?
Students, let's get ready. Begin. Time's up. Let's get back to our lesson.
Welcome back, students. The name of the process the blue-green algae went through to produce oxygen is called photosynthesis. Good memory. We have studied photosynthesis before, as I am sure you recall. Organisms that go through the process of photosynthesis can also be called autotrophs. They are plants on land or in the water, such as water weeds, trees, and grasses. Autotrophs are organisms that use sunlight as a source of energy. They also use carbon dioxide as a carbon source. They are able to produce organic molecules from inorganic materials. Basically, this means autotrophs are organisms that can make their own food through non-living food sources, such as energy from light and chemical reactions. Autotrophs can be split into two groups: photoautotrophs and chemoautotrophs. Photoautotrophs use light as their energy source, and chemoautotrophs use chemical reactions as their energy source. The oxygen produced by photoautotrophs has made it possible for aerobic type of cellular respiration to evolve. As cellular respiration evolved, the amount of oxygen produced by autotrophs, allowed the Earth to become hospitable to other forms of life. Chemoautotrophs use energy from chemical reactions to make their food. They usually use only inorganic energy sources. Scientists believe that some of the first organisms to live on Earth were chemoautotrophs. For our next activity, students, can you explain the difference between a photoautotroph and a chemoautotroph? Write your answer on a piece of notebook paper.
Students, let's get ready. Begin. Time's up. Let's get back to our lesson.
Welcome back, students. If you answered by saying that photoautotrophs use light as an energy source and chemoautotrophs use chemical reactions as an energy source, then you answered correctly. A good example of a chemoautotroph is a special type of organism that lives deep in the ocean next to cracks in the Earth's crust called hydrothermic vents. These are full of chemoautotrophs that use the heat and chemicals from inside the earth to make their food. Even in the cold depths of the ocean, life still finds a way to survive. To review what we just learned about autotrophs, they are needed in food chains in all environments in the world. They take energy from the environment in the form of sunlight or inorganic chemicals and use it to produce organic molecules to nourish themselves. Other organisms take in autotrophs as food to carry out functions necessary for life. All life depends on autotrophs to continue developing and surviving. In our lesson today, we learned about the origin of autotrophs and their importance in the development of life on Earth. We even learned about the different types of autotrophs and learned about a few tenacious organisms that live deep under the ocean. Good lesson, students. Until next time, thank you, students. Thank you, teacher.